Welcome back to Glow Up or Get Out. I am half the podcast, Sam.
I'm the other half, Mel.
And today we have a very special guest. It's Logan!
Woo!
Yay!
Thank you.
If you guys don't know who Logan is, it's a real shame. That means you don't listen at all because we talk about her in nearly every episode.
You do? I have to.
You have to?
I have to.
You don't have to, but I do. She comes up.
Why do you have to?
Because you're like in every facet of my life.
I like that answer. If you haven't gotten the gist.
We are together. That is my girlfriend.
That is my girlfriend.
Her shirt, I love my hot girlfriend. So, period.
Reppin'.
Wow, we really are just the Three Musketeers right now. This is weird. We've never had a
Always have
conversation
been.
in a triangle like this.
Yes, we have.
But, like, this just feels so posed.
This feels, like, very official or, like, I don't know. It's very strange.
It is a little strange.
We've had so many conversations sitting in a triangle.
You're right. At nearly every table we sit at. So.
Literally
every table.
Every day.
Okay, well, anyways, I guess we're gonna skip how our weeks were. You were with her.
I mean,
it's about the same.
It's just been like...
Sam only wants to skip the week that was my birthday
sorry,
week.
period. Period, fuck cancers. Just kidding.
When it's Sam's birthday week, the whole episode will be about her birthday.
For real.
She said, how to have the best birthday ever.
Have the best birthday as a Leo birthday girl.
In Leo season.
I actually found out
birthday.
I have
in
something
August.
in Cancer. I don't know what it is. It's like at the bottom on the pattern. And I was like, oh fuck.
You have Cancer
I have
in you?
Like,
not
biologically.
Like the sign.
Not the disease, the sign.
The sign Cancer.
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
I'd have to look at my phone to tell you. Maybe I'll throw it up on the screen in a cute little effect.
I wonder what it would be.
I'm like...
We'll find out tonight.
Yeah, I'll tell you at the end of this.
It's her penis.
I don't think so. Her Venus is
Virgo, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was like, it's something.
That makes
Earth.
more sense.
Anyways, it was Logan's birthday this week.
Logan's birthday was yesterday.
Yes.
When we're recording this. Anyway.
You know what? Logan's the whole reason that our schedule got messed up. But for good reason. I'm very glad. Because we're going to Joshua Tree.
Oh,
for your birthday.
We are.
Yeah.
Literally tonight. So we're filming now, and we thought, what a better time to have you as a guest.
When I have the whole week off work.
Yeah, period.
She has to
make her work.
In terms of what we did, though, this whole weekend, it was 4th of July weekend, and we said fuck America anyway.
We have a new tradition.
Yeah, we decided our new tradition is to reorganize our closets in our home.
4th of July.
Yes.
Every 4th of
Every
July.
4th of July. At least
That's the day before your birthday. How does that feel?
It feels great.
It feels like a new year.
It's a cleanse.
I was telling Melissa, like, when I'm out and about, do you ever just, like, take inventory of all, like, the shit in your life? Like, the bad shit?
Like physical things.
Or, like...
mental.
Emotional. I'm like, oh my god, you know, I really should clear the air with this person. Like, I'll just be at the grocery store and I'll be like, okay, let's take, like,
I'll stay
shit
up for
inventory.
hours at night.
Why do we do that? Okay, but anyway.
But when I think about that, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I need to, like, fix that fight I had with my sister earlier, or I need to apologize for this, or I need to check in with this person. Or, like, I think about our house and I'm like, our closet is a mess. Or this closet's a mess. Or this is cluttered. Yeah. Or every time I open this drawer, it gives me anxiety. Like, I just take inventory of all the shitty things in my life.
So now you're not doing that because you feel...
Well, when I go to take inventory of all the shitty things in my life, I'm like,
there's a lot less.
There's
she says nothing and she goes...
For me, then I'm like, there's a lot less. Because then I think about, like, all the other things I want to organize.
Like, things that aren't in your house, still in the house.
Yeah. She thinks about the kitchen.
I think about the kitchen. I think about, like, the bathroom. My brain can go on and on.
There's just so many things you could do all the time.
It just... I like doing it the day before my birthday because then I feel
You feel light.
I feel much lighter.
Like, we got rid of, like, no joke, like 500 pounds of, like, clothes. There was...
Like, you know those huge bags
that sounded like a joke amount, though.
No, wait, listen.
Those huge, like, bags that you put leaves in. She sent me 2
pictures.
Okay, those size bags, we got rid of 9 or 10. That is...
I mean, yeah, depending on what's in them. But,
yeah.
like,
they were all full
of clothes.
Of shoes and clothes.
One bag was full of shoes, so that was really heavy.
Rubber.
Rubber.
I said heavy item. Rubber.
No, but we got rid of a lot of shit. It felt good.
Okay, cleansed.
Yeah, that's what we did.
We love to hear it.
New 4th of July tradition, because fuck that.
Yeah.
But we did eat hot dogs 3 times in one weekend. So.
Yeah.
And we're having more this weekend.
Yeah, and we had
Why?
hamburgers.
I don't know, dude.
Melissa said this is the only thing I'm celebrating.
We should have made corn dogs.
The night is young. We can still make
We do
corn
still
dogs.
need to go to the store. Anyways.
What'd you do this last week? I mean, it's mostly like the weekend. What'd you do this weekend?
Just like chill. What'd I do? So, Wyatt had a hockey game. Went to his hockey game.
Did he win?
They don't keep score at this age.
When is the season over?
It restarted. So he's on a new team. They're called Pearl. Don't think he picked the name at all. He has no idea what he just shows up.
He's
And
a vibe.
Eddie dresses him. So it's not, he doesn't even get dressed.
He's just vibing.
Yeah, but his goal is always for 3 goals and he gets the icy. But he played a good team. So
No icy.
he got one goal. I know. And then Eddie felt bad because he did play good. Wyatt's a good player. Defensive. He passes the fucking puck. Like, he knows what he's doing out there. He's fast. Anyways, so my brother was going to get one, but then he forgot because there was this whole, like, oh, you're going to Nana and Papa's instead because they had stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Wyatt's leaving. He's like, I want my icy. What happened? I said, okay, like, you have to get 3, remember? Like, you played a really good game, though. And he was just like, but Dad said I could still get one, though. And I was like, oh. I was like, well, we're leaving. I was like, we're going to get food right now.
Sam, you're the aunt. You're supposed to be like,
the cool one.
I'm going to get you an icy even though you only made one.
Look, I'm still trying to teach him things.
Right, okay.
I'm not trying to be I see him often enough to where it's like I can't be that cool, you know?
Yeah, okay.
That's
like,
fair.
You know what I mean?
When he's here.
And he's a little shit, so he
gonna be a
deserves a
little
little
menace.
tough love sometimes.
He'll take advantage of the pushover.
Yeah, but... And, you know, and then he's a butt, and then we're at lunch. I'm like, what do you want? Like, you could get a sundae, you could get... And he's like, I don't want any of that. And we're like... Tired of trying with you, Roy.
Ew.
He's just so picky. Anyway, sorry, Wyatt, to roast you. But anyways, did that. Sunday, went on a hike with Victoria.
How was that?
It was nice. It was really fucking hard. I remember doing it once.
Inventory. I literally need to text her back. I haven't texted her back.
Oh, she texted you?
Yeah.
Text her back.
She just texted me, like, right before we started recording.
What'd she say?
I don't know. I didn't...
Oh.
We weirdly
recording.
bring up Tori also a lot on this podcast. It's like
We do.
Tori and Logan are the people we talk about.
Yeah, Tori's got to be on next for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, hung out with her for the day pretty much, and then just watched Love Island UK. I'm caught up. Are you guys caught up?
I'm caught
Yep.
up.
Midnight.
Okay, then we watch it tonight.
Okay. I'm down.
At midnight.
I'm
At
down.
midnight.
Anyways, so we're gonna watch that tonight, but did that, and then Monday didn't really do much either, you know. Anyways, so getting into the topic at hand. I don't really know what the overarching topic is.
I think we're just going to get into 2 big topics that Logan embodies.
Okay.
Sex and feelings. She's giving Samantha a little bit.
She
She doesn't give Samantha, but sex and feelings.
does not feelings.
Yeah, I'm like feelings. Maybe not. Charlotte.
Logan's a Charlotte.
I get Charlotte a lot. Don't worry. We're in it together.
don't like
Y'all both
that.
are Charlotte.
I don't like it either, but
No, but you are. I'm not.
Who do you think you are, Miranda? Miranda does turn out to be gay.
good luck being Miranda.
I don't want to be Miranda. Why am I like the prude one? I feel like Charlotte.
Everyone's a combination. I just can't.
Charlotte's, I mean, she's not a prude she's a prude a little bit, but anyway, okay, we're getting fucking off topic
That was
already.
completely disregard that.
gonna
Anyway,
happen.
we're going to talk about sexuality and spirituality. The 2 S's.
Spirituality was, I said feelings. My bad.
Same thing.
That's a feel.
That's a feel.
It's a feel.
It's feel. I feel.
Maybe let's go around the room and all say how we identify.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, you should go first.
I should go first. I use the pronouns she, her. And if I am asked by somebody who may not understand, I use the term pansexual. But usually I don't really like to define it. But like if my grandma asks me and she's like, I need a word, like I need a definition.
She
need
needs
to be
to
able
Google it later.
this and
Yeah.
understand.
Fair enough.
I just say pansexual.
Okay.
Which basically means that
You
I
love
like
everyone.
people for who they are and not what's in their pants. Because it's all
It's all
cool.
the same.
It's all cool.
It's all cool with me.
Oh, I'm next? Oh, I
No,
don't
doesn't
know.
matter. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm next. This feels like a really, like, AA meeting or something. Or, like, the
Hi,
first...
I'm Logan. I'm a pansexual. Hi, Logan.
Hi, Logan. It just feels like the first day of class when they make you do shit.
I like
Fun fact, I'm
icebreakers.
gay.
Fun fact,
Everyone go
I'm
around the
straight. That's all we were saying, right?
How do you identify, though?
Oh, she, her are my pronouns.
My
And
pro-
you're straight.
and
That's
she's
what I
straight.
said.
Okay.
Mostly.
I heard you.
There's a whole nother topic. If they want to
Well, we
broach it.
I mean, the topic is sexuality.
We will
let
approach
Mel
it.
go
I said
first.
we will approach it.
let Mel do it.
My pronouns are she, her. I similarly, like, it depends on who's asking. For example, older folk, like my parents, I am bisexual to them because I don't think that they understand the concept of pansexuality.
Does it translate well? Just
It
curious.
does. I don't think it does.
How would you translate?
I'm not sure. I think it'd just be like a brain, like, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I did try to explain my sexuality, and it was very interesting. As pansexual, so
Because to describe your sexuality, you also have to define and explain other
people,
sexual orientations,
Right.
and identities. That
yeah. So it just gets complicated, but yeah, I guess if I was to use a term, it more like truly it'd be pansexual, but I also like don't really care to define my sexuality either. So there's that.
Well, I'm glad we got the icebreaker out of the way.
How we got that out of the way.
God, I was
that was
kind of
really
I
hard.
was nervous to find everybody's out.
I was nervous for what you were gonna say.
Why? Okay, let's get into it. Why?
Why what?
Why were you nervous?
I wasn't nervous. I was curious.
See, because like Logan and I have a theory that like everybody's gay. At
Just
least
a little.
just a little bit. You're on
I
the
think you would
spectrum.
agree. A little bit.
I guess I can't really say. I feel like I shouldn't have a say on it.
Why? Being straight's a sexuality.
Why?
Well, like, you don't
I don't know.
know
I just feel
if
like I
you
don't
like
know.
you don't know if you like pie if you've never tried pie. Like, how would you know?
You like pie.
You
Yeah.
like pie. So
Sam
she's
likes
just-
making pies.
Sam loves
She
making pies. I don't know how that translates.
I'm
not
not
translating
sure
well.
if it's
I'm talking about
translating
real
okay
pies.
here.
Yes, real pies.
Real pies I do love. You guys got me pie weights for my birthday.
Sounds like fucking Kegel balls.
You guys got me pie weights.
Pie balls.
Pie balls.
Anyways.
Yeah, but we have a theory that like everybody is a little bit gay, and we'll come to like understand that as they're like,
Or
living
they
their
won't.
life, or they won't,
Ever.
or they'll very much.
You make it sound so detrimental.
I think
won't
that's
ever.
If you don't realize that you're gay, I think that is really
That
detrimental.
is sad.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is sad.
Well, yeah. It is sad.
But anyway, I think to that like theory is just that everybody has like an attraction for like their same sex in some form or some degree. You know what I mean? It's either like I think like a lot of straight women see other women as like really beautiful or even like sexy, but like they never they wouldn't necessarily like see themselves like sleeping with feminine presenting people. That makes sense.
You think they lean more towards like masculine presenting women?
Not even that. I just feel like straight women would like maybe not even cross that line, but they would like think about it. You know what I'm saying? Also going towards like the like,
But not outwardly.
not outwardly. Like maybe they would watch porn that is like woman on woman, or you know
like
what I mean?
all straight women watch lesbian porn.
Yeah.
I mean, all. Maybe a lot.
I think like
I don't know. Did you
majority.
I also think that people.
Did you just ask me what kind of porn my grandma watched?
I sure did. I'm just saying, okay? Not all.
I don't think
I
they
wonder if your
watch
grandma
porn.
watched it. I know. I wonder
I
if
think
your
like
grandma
an
watches it.
overwhelmingly like large percentage of straight women watch lesbian porn.
Yeah.
To your point, I was gonna say it's like more normalized for women to say another woman is hot and be straight, you know, and it not be
Yeah.
like weird, but for a
Yeah.
guy to tell like to say, oh, that man's like good looking or like that's a handsome dude. it's like super.
It's super, like,
at least among men. I feel like
Yeah.
among most women, other than maybe like toxic women, it's like like period. Yeah, like that's an attractive looking guy.
Yeah, like toxic masculinity definitely like reaps into both, you know, men and women. So whenever that's presented,
Yes,
nobody can say shit about what they actually think.
that's true.
But yeah, I feel like I respect a guy when they can actually say, like, no, that's a really good looking dude, even if like they're not.
Or even just say that guy's
hot.
Men need to say that more about
Yeah.
each other. I think it would really fix.
I think it would fix the
I
world
think
a little
it would
bit.
really heal our
I think everyone would
universe.
really enjoy that.
I honestly do agree with that.
I do.
I'm glad we're all in agreement.
You heard it
Let's
here
start a
first.
petition.
Petition.
Men need to start calling other men hot.
Should we get into, like, not necessarily like how I'm trying to like decipher whether like this is an episode of like, if you're not like you're struggling, but like if you are just like interested in like learning about yourself and your sexuality, like should we talk about like why you know you're gay and like why you don't, why I do, you know what I mean? So like, is that
Sure.
yeah? Do you want to go? Let's start with I know why I'm not.
Yeah. How do you know?
How do you know you're
How do you
not?
know you don't like
Do
pie?
you see how attacked I am right now? God damn.
It's funny because I feel like when we do this to you, I like just think in my head like we literally are pushing the gay agenda.
They literally push the gay agenda hard.
Everyone's right. The
I
gay
think
agenda, the gay agenda is alive and well.
I think I'm straight because it feels like a dumb thing to talk about for personally anyway.
I think I'm straight.
I guess like
Because-
what
Let her talk.
she's anyways. I guess it's just like there's not really anything that's like deep rooted in it because there's nothing telling me there's anything wrong with liking men, you know? So I don't have like a that's when I realized moment, which is not a great thing.
When you say like there's nothing telling you,
Like society isn't pushing the opposite agenda of like they're pushing men, boys, like, oh, who do you have a crush on?
right?
That little boy is so cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's always being
So it's
pushed
like
on you.
comfortable.
So it's not like anything where I'm thinking about it too hard. It's just like I have crushes on boys.
Yeah.
And
It's just
like,
always been that way.
yeah, and I just never really felt like
Anything else?
a pressure towards anything else.
Yeah. Do you think you would if like on the contrary you grew up and people were like, what girl do you have a crush on? Or if maybe things were just more
Yeah, I get what
like
you're saying.
open, because like I know my sister raises, like, they haven't told their kids, they're 3 and 5, and they haven't told them anything about like boys like girls. Obviously they've seen Melissa and I together, and they've seen like I have a mommy and a daddy, but like they haven't seen anything else. Do you feel like if you didn't have like the construct of like
if I
what
had
boy do you have a
two
crush on? Is that
gay
your
aunts
boyfriend?
or something?
Yeah.
Would probably be helpful. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have like given it more thought. Like I probably as a kid would have asked more questions, because recently actually Sienna was in my room and she's like, where's that picture, like what happened to that picture on your desk? It was me and my ex-boyfriend, and I was like, oh, it's gone now. And she was just like, what happened to him? And she knew not to like say who it was, but she also forgot his name. But
Period, me too.
Period, queen.
So it didn't really matter, but I like had to, because she asked, I think I said, oh, we broke up, so it's gone now. And she was just like, oh, okay. And then she's like, well, why'd you break up with him? And I was like, well,
What a like loaded question.
I know. And I was like, have you ever heard of cheating? I mean, like cheating is, you know, like in games and
On a
stuff.
test, yeah.
And she was like, no. Like she didn't really get like in terms of what I'm talking about probably. And I was like, let's just say he did something I couldn't forgive him for. She was like, oh. She's like, did you throw away the picture? I was like, yeah.
No, I burned it.
Yeah. And whatever. So like it kind of like broached this topic of breakups, because like obviously my parents are together, her parents are together.
She doesn't know any
A
different.
lot of her family or friends, his family, are still together. So the only reason she would ever ask that is if she noticed it in like real life. So I do think that if I you know, had someone in my life or someone in my life asking me those questions, I might be like, why are they asking me that? Or how come, like, why aren't things adding up, basically? And yeah, to answer your question, yes. I don't know if it would change anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't know, but...
It's like nature and nurture. Do you think that, like, in the conversation of nature versus nurture, do you think that, like, our nurture being so heavily heterosexual, it's not a gay agenda, it's a hetero agenda.
It's been a heterosexual agenda. Come on.
But do you think that, like, with... What was I trying to get at? With, like, the nurture being so hetero, do you think that if it was just, like... normal, like neutral, like neutrally, normal or neutral. If it was just like we didn't really say one or the other and both were depicted like evenly.
I think it's like impossible, like with all things, you know.
Consider like
I
mean that's like
media
an
and TV shows.
Not even that, like religion. I think like that is what's like the biggest thing of like why the media and everything else has been running with, like, heterosexuality.
They're doing a little better.
They are.
Yeah, but they get so much shit for it.
Yeah. Or it becomes, like, there's an agenda to make everyone gay.
Like in Buzz Lightyear, that was so subtle.
It was subtle.
Literally wouldn't have noticed it if...
Just slipped in.
Like, as a kid, I don't think, like, unless
Why
your parents...
Sienna didn't say anything about it?
Yeah, unless your parents are literally, like...
Why would they put that
only
in there?
telling you, or like as a kid, like if they're only telling you, like
if they were like, don't look,
like I don't think
it's like you better keep that energy for heterosexual people. Then don't look.
But the thing is, like that subtleness is just so also very important because it normalizes so much. Like it makes it neutral.
It's not an agenda. It's just life.
There doesn't need to be a whole Disney movie about like I am gay.
No,
but it can just be like incorporated in really simple ways.
Yeah. I just wish we would all get to a point where, like, it doesn't even have to be so, like, things have to be so pro, like, gay, but instead it's just, like, it's just neutral. Like, and everyone feels neutral about it. But I don't think we're in a societal place there because we're so, like, the community is still oppressed and, like, still hated and still, like, there's still a lot to be worked on. And I don't think that it's ever going to go away because of things like religion and, like, hate groups.
And it doesn't help that we're divided in general. Like, currently, the U.S. at least is extremely divided. So there's no way we're going to have any humanitarian insane progress.
Like, it sounds so stupid, and I wish it wasn't this way. But even, like, being together in a relationship, like, two women being in a lesbian relationship, I guess, feels like a lot of times like a rebellion almost.
Yeah.
And I wish it didn't feel that way. Like sometimes when we're walking down the street, I'm like, should I hold your hand right now?
Yeah.
Is it just cool? Is this smart to hold your hand right now?
It sucks that it like every subtle movement we make together as a couple feels like a statement.
Yeah, it feels like I'm like challenging everybody or like rebelling against, and I wish it wasn't like that. I wish we didn't have to think about that.
Sometimes I don't, especially like living in Los Angeles, like, and we live so close to like WeHo. I mean, obviously we got blessed at Target in West Hollywood.
That was
not subtly.
It was like we were like literally a demon.
I'm like, how many gay people does this lady see? Like,
it was giving.
Quit your job, lady.
Maybe that's why she works there. She thinks she's doing God's work.
Maybe
blessing all the gay people, blessing the gay away.
Interesting.
Maybe no.
No. What I'm saying is like, although that did happen, I think like living in LA, at least it's a little more neutral than it is like negative. It feels like I feel like a lot more comfortable, and I don't have to consistently think about it. But like for example, if we come to this side of town, not like maybe like Hacienda Heights, but like
Sam's house,
in Sam's house. No, but like when I come to like my hometown, it feels like that. It feels like every subtle moment feels like a statement.
Yeah, it feels dangerous. Well, and there is times too where I feel proud to like make that statement as well. Like sometimes it feels empowering to like.
But just, like, not your everyday. Like, why?
Not every day. Yeah. Like, it doesn't need to be, like, at Vaughn's. I don't want to second guess, like, coming up behind you and hugging you. But I do sometimes.
But I do. A lot.
But other times when we are around But it's hard because if we're in like a situation that could be dangerous, if we were to be affectionate with one another, I wouldn't want to. But if we're around people who I know aren't necessarily supportive of the LGBTQ community, part of me almost wants to like show it more, to like normalize it and just be like, we're literally like, grocery shopping.
If they're all fucking talk and no bite, I will do some shit about it.
I would be happy if someone said, I mean, I would not be happy, but I would not be happy. No. That is not what I meant. But I would be...
You would take the opportunity to...
I would take the opportunity to have a conversation if it was brought up in a very
It's also just not your job, though. Like, you would be...
It's not my job, but I think a little bit of it is, in a way, because I think the LGBT...
standing up for yourself, but also everyone else.
But I think the community as a whole... like, is where it is today because of obviously Black transgender people. And I think as, like, a white cisgender female in the community, I feel like...
It's like you owe something.
I guess. Or, like, if I have the opportunity to speak about it and educate somebody in a way that maybe when they see somebody else that is... trans or gay or something that maybe they're not super familiar with and maybe they want to say something rude or I don't know, any kind of situation, ignorance, if they're gonna like, I mean, hopefully if I had the opportunity to educate somebody, that would then help them see things possibly differently.
And that's like a very interesting way, or like that's an interesting thing that you just said, because like I think being a white woman and also being like part of the community, like let's just like talk about like you as a white woman. I think white women have always played like they're the ones who like speak for like white people in general. Like it's not men, it's like the women are the voice in a sense, but like all of the thoughts have been made by men. But like you, in being the contrary of like what that normalcy is, I think like you're still the voice. Like people still see you as like the voice of like white people, if that makes sense. This sounds funny, but like stay with me.
I'm following.
Yes. Follow. Doing that, like, and doing the contrary where you're like explaining to someone else who would take it better from you than like a person of color, or even
which is shitty in its own right.
Yeah, it's just like it's shitty in its own right, but the fact that like you are taking it to a point where like as your responsibility, because it kind of is, it does fall back on you because like, society has made you voice.
I think I also benefit heavily from a lot of pain. Like being able to walk down the street in Los Angeles holding your hand is a privilege that has been given to me. Like I have suffered, and everyone suffers like their own pain and whatnot, but like as a society, I feel like you said before, that I do kind of owe something, because it was the people before us that really paved the way to feel somewhat safe, like being ourselves. Yeah. Outwardly and openly, and not like questioning ourselves.
Totally. I feel like on a like zoomed out perspective, that's how I see like when people go to like Pride. I mean, Pride is like a lot of fun, but I think it's become like a lot about like partying and like drinking and stuff, and then like in those times, like I zoom out and I'm like, would they actually be like really excited about the way that like we are celebrating now? Like, because they went through like hardship of like...
Pride's a protest.
It's a protest, yeah.
I think though...
But I think we also deserve to like celebrate and be happy. It's just...
It's a thought.
It's a thought, because I feel like... I mean, I think there might be some that are like, I fucking did so much, and like...
You're just
getting drunk. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that those people would love to see society in a place where sexuality in that way could be celebrated. Yeah. But I do also feel like, I mean, we talked about this, like this most recent Pride, where like I was not really in the mood to like celebrate Pride because it was sad to me. Like it is sad.
It's also like the work is not done.
No, the work is never done, and it's no matter what, the work probably will never be done, but people deserve to look at how far we've come and celebrate that, I think. Yeah. And I don't think that people who have paved the way would look down on that. I think people that paved the way who maybe didn't get to be drunk at a bar with their same-sex partner and kiss drunkenly and walk home together holding hands, like, I think they would love to see that now and wish that they could have had that for themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that reminds me of that. There's like this TikTok of this.
I can't even think about that TikTok.
I need to talk about it though.
Oh
it was this
Have you seen
video.
it?
No.
It was this, for anyone who hasn't seen it, but it was this
Maybe.
video of it starts with like these two younger boys. I think they're like 16.
Is it real? Like, what's...
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like two 16-year-old.
It's like a stitched reel.
It's like two 16 year olds like kissing in bed, and they're just like kind of cuddling, like those like cute like little
Very
videos
Tumblr.
of like, yeah, of like couples on TikTok, like, you know, like those kinds of videos. And then someone stitched it, this gay man stitched it and was like basically saying like, this makes me so happy, but at the same time he was like bawling, crying. He was like, it hurts me so much and it pains me because like this was taken from me. Mm-hmm. Like I was not able to do or feel this at that age, and that time was taken from me, mm-hmm. and it will never be given to me again. Yeah. And like that thought is really sad and crazy to me. Like
mm-hmm. There's probably a lot of anger and happiness, which like are totally normal to feel at the same time.
Yeah.
In a situation like that.
That's probably similar to what they'd be feeling, the people who did all the work.
Exactly. It's like bittersweet, mm-hmm. I guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I also think that, not to say that like when we go out together holding hands we're doing work necessarily, but like there are situations that I hope in 10 years from now when our kids are growing up, if they are queer and have a partner, or even if they're just queer, there's situations that like we've experienced now in this day and age that I hope in 10 years people aren't experiencing anymore.
I also just like, obviously like seeing like representation is like huge. So like I sometimes think about like when little girls like see us out, like, mm-hmm. and maybe that like they are gay when they like grow up, or maybe like they are gay now, but like, you know what I mean?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Gay.
Me.
But like 3. That like seeing that small thing like really impacts people. And like for example, I'm super grateful that my cousin came out to my parents, and although like my coming out story was not as like touching, I think like at the same time I was comfortable enough to do it because I saw someone in my family, mm-hmm. that like was able to almost like not give a shit about what anybody had to say and be true to themselves. And like I don't think that I've made like a huge impact, but I feel like I've had like certain of my cousins from a different side of the family like come to me and tell me like that has really, like, you coming out has been a huge like eye-opener for me, that I don't want to live like in fear of like telling our family about it. And it's just interesting, like one of my cousins in specific recently came out as trans, and I didn't even know that, but before that even happened they had identified as a lesbian, which it was just so crazy because like at the time she had like told me that like coming out was it made it a lot easier to come out to my aunt and like everyone in our family. And then I guess now it just like snowballed into them feeling so comfortable to come out as he and him. So it was just like, it's interesting that such like one, like my cousin then like snowballed everybody else, you know what I mean? And it's such a small thing that like, I don't know. I always think about like when children in specific see us, like, if not that I want to impact them, but like I wonder if that's like a comforting thought or feeling, you know?
Or it's like nothing.
And or like, neutral, like even if we're creating a neutral like mental experience where like that's normal, normal, and like
because I think that's what to see all the people who are like so scared that you're pushing, like, actually, like we were joking about pushing the gay agenda, but like actually the joke of pushing the gay agenda or whatever, they're just like scared that you're trying to be like, be gay, like be gay, but it's like, no, you're just trying to be,
if this is heterosexuality and this is homosexuality, like gay, straight, it's like it's so far this way.
Which way? You need to describe. Not everybody's listening.
Oh, it's so far towards heterosexuality, like everything that kids see growing up and are told, that if they see us walking down the street holding hands, for example. It's not going to
boost
swing it all the way. It's
Yeah.
like to outweigh the amount of heterosexual media and like messaging that's out there. These subtle, like a commander in Buzz Lightyear being queer and having a wife, like that's not going to swing children to be fully. It might make it like more even keeled, and that's and more neutral, which I hope is like what people would want. But
Anyway, we were doing like a thing, and then we got really sidetracked.
What was our thing?
What'd you guys ask me? How'd you know you were gay?
You were straight.
How'd you guys know you were gay?
Oh,
so like,
I'll go first because I feel like yours is just like,
I knew.
I don't
know. Okay,
go
Mel.
Go Mel.
I don't think that it actually ever was like a ding, you know, like I'm fucking gay. I think it was just something that I think as a kid, I always just like gravitated towards like anybody based on like their personality and like
in terms of like friendships too, or what do you mean?
I don't think I ever had like crushes on friends actually, which is interesting.
No, not like that. I just mean like you like
I'm saying
specifically
in terms of,
crushes.
Like,
crushes.
Okay. Like I feel like I had crushes on people based on like just like how their personalities. Like I feel like I was really attracted to like confident people or people who were like kind but like also like able to speak to like multiple people at the same time. Like it was just like a thing for me that I was like, that person's really confident. As a kid, I mean, I didn't say like that person's confident and I love that about them, but like
personality traits.
I like when they had a great personality, I was just gravitated towards them, and then like that just like that was attractive to me, and I like would gravitate towards that. But like
as a kid, did you acknowledge that was a crush even if it was a girl?
I think so.
Okay.
And I know I just said like I don't think I ever like had a crush on a friend. I don't think that like I think I stopped it from developing as a crush after that. But I think like a lot of like the girls that I probably wanted to be friends with, I saw that slight attraction, but like my heteronormative like the heteronormative agenda was probably like that's not allowed, and so like I just like ex-nayed it, or what is it? How do people say like ex-nay on the, you know what I mean? No, anyway,
it's too.
They just ignored it. I just ignored it. So I don't think I fully like developed any crushes on like friends, but I think that that's how like I developed like on knowing
of the people you like
that like the types of people I like. And then I think like once like middle school and like high school, like as I started developing like actually what sexuality was, like when you're becoming like a sexual being, I think like media and like celebrities, like that was like more apparent to me of like, oh, that's attractive.
Okay,
like the hormones kicked in. And you're like,
talk pivotal moment. We've talked about it before, but like Vanessa Hudgens or like Miley Cyrus nudes getting leaked,
right?
What was that experience for you guys? Was it a positive one?
I don't remember.
Oh my god, Logan.
Because
I just thought it was fast. Like
I thought it was fascinating.
I thought it was fascinating. Like zero attraction. I was just like, holy shit, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Oh my god, copying.
Like, no, I think I don't
this pose I'm doing.
That. I was like, what? T-shirt in the shower, Miley? Holy shit! I actually have never done that. Wow, missing out.
Were you like? How old were we?
I think 10. We were like 10.
Yeah,
9 or 10.
I didn't see that, but I saw 2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh, you're telling me that was a good experience for you? Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I thought you were gonna say that was like a trigger for
I'm
you.
Like, not to kink shame
like,
anyone, but that's gross.
It's like, Logan, we didn't need to say it on the podcast.
I don't remember Vanessa Hudgens and Miley Cyrus's nudes coming out.
Do you remember what they look like?
Their nudes? I've never seen them.
I'm sorry. Did you have access to a computer?
Oh yeah.
Yes, she did.
So
we'll get into that. No, I think I did like. I was like, oh,
you said I like that.
That's interesting.
Oh,
I was a little too fascinated, I think.
Okay.
Which like was it? You know, it was like
I mean, at that age, I think it's fascinating overall. Like, regardless, because it's just it's just like, wait, what? Like, I've never seen anything displayed that way.
Yeah.
Anyways,
no, totally. But yeah, I think like as media like was like put into my brain, like let's say for example like Camp Rock, you know what I mean, like I was like Jonas Brothers, hot,
sexy,
and then I was like Demi Lovato, also hot, you know what I mean. I was like, they're both like really attractive. I don't know why, but I would never admit it admit to like Demi Lovato. You know
Do you
what I mean?
feel like you had the vocabulary at that time
No.
to identify like what you were feeling?
Absolutely not. And I think that is a huge part of it. And being told in other forms that it's wrong made it even more difficult to like identify exactly what I was feeling or like who I
overall
was.
it's probably a confusing
Yeah.
experience.
No, totally. And I think also even being like Mexican, I think it even like makes it difficult when like certain jokes are made. I mean, I definitely have stopped them like when they have come up in more recent like years, but like, yeah, just like being part of like a Mexican family, Mexican background, I feel like it's there's a lot of like little jokes that like make it known that it's like not fully okay.
Accepted, I guess?
It's not even, I think it's just like it's not accepted, but it's also like
It's not just not talked about, it's talked about
in a negative way. But then also like it's like the sentiment of like it's fine if it's not like my kid kind of a thing. Like I think a lot of Mexican people like
I don't hate gay people.
Yeah.
But
my kid just can't be gay. And so that is like, it's just like it's a pressure for sure.
Got it. Okay. That was your experience. Logan, how'd you know you're gay?
I don't even know. I feel like I'm trying to think of like I didn't really have like an aha moment either. I feel like I was very privileged in the fact that I, for whatever reason, didn't really think there was
A problem.
And it's not even that I was shown at a young age like other gay couples, at least not in like my very young adolescence. I went to a high school where a lot of the teachers were queer and everybody at the school was very like queer positive and accepting. So I think once I got to middle and high school, maybe I was more like I felt more at home or like more in my place. Not to say that I really felt out of place. And I think it's very different. I feel like it's very different than most people's experiences. And I feel very privileged to have had like the experience I did. But I remember being in preschool and having a crush on a girl and a boy. And I kissed both of them. And I thought there was nothing wrong with that. I just thought it was like...
Do you feel like your family was like spoke neutral?
I don't really remember like necessarily going home and being like, I like a boy and a girl. I just didn't... I thought that everyone at that time like did like boys and girls.
Like it was normal.
Yeah.
But I thought so.
You just don't feel like... Because like she's saying it was like there was a negative nuance
like from the start.
Right. Yeah. I would not say I was raised like in a neutral household though.
But was like subtle things said.
Either way.
I think it was the sentiment that we were talking about before where like media weighs so heavily towards hetero sexuality that there was nothing swaying things the other way. I didn't really know other gay people. Not that I can remember. Maybe I did grow up around, gay couples and whatnot. But I was raised Christian and my grandparents are Christian. And so I understood that being Christian meant that, at least for my family, it seemed as though Christianity meant that you weren't like supportive of gay people, or it was just kind of like we don't talk about it. My grandma has a nephew that's gay, so I did grow up around him, but I don't really think I saw him with another man. But I think being raised Christian, I, for as long as I can remember, rejected the idea of it because it didn't make sense to me. Well, we'll talk about spirituality later, but like the idea that this God that loves me and created me and all of these things was like also mad at me for things, or like unforgiving, or et cetera, like unaccepting of, a certain kind of love didn't make sense to me. So I feel like at a really young age, I kind of rejected that idea. But my coming out story, like once so I thought it was normal, right? Throughout elementary school, I had crushes on girls. I guess I wasn't outward about it. Maybe I was a little shy about it, but I think I was shy about like anyone I had a crush on. Like I liked
that's
this.
Normal.
Yeah. I thought so. But I had a
Everyone's
crush
like,
on...
Logan, you were weird in elementary
I honestly was. I mean, I was always like, I always dressed very masculine, and I feel like everyone in my life was accepting of that. Like, my grandma would take me school shopping, and I would be like, I don't want to go to the girls section. I only want to go to the boys section of Target. And she was never like, why? You need to wear a dress. You're a girl. Like, no one told me things like that.
That's what you want to do, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. I had the quintessential, everyone had them that's gay. Melissa had them.
What were
I
they?
had them. The Target plaid shorts. The the capris. They went to
Sorry.
here. They were
No,
plaid.
I had the capris of
Yeah.
the
The capris. Like, okay, I can't read.
I don't even
Oh.
remember those, to be honest.
Oh, you're straight.
Put me to the test.
But my grandma, she didn't care. Like, she was like, yeah,
Yeah.
boys section it is. Like, and I think
mine weren't from the boys section though.
you had the pink ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, I was like a fashionista.
Yeah.
So.
Right. But I wasn't. Okay. I mean, I honestly didn't really pay attention. Obviously, my environment impacted me, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. Because
Yeah.
I felt like,
Yeah.
well, I like who I like. Like, I just remember at a really young age feeling like if people think that's weird, like, why would I want to have someone like that in my life?
Yeah.
You just kind of
Anyways.
rejected things that you were already like, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, I just, like, it didn't make sense to me, so, like, I didn't vibe with that.
Yeah.
And if somebody really wasn't going to love me or support me or be there for me because I was gay,
Yeah.
then, like, why would I want... And that's a privilege in its own to be able to have that perspective, but, like, why would I want that person
Yeah.
to be in my life? Like, I wasn't necessarily scared to come out to anybody. Like, the way my dad found out I was gay was because he read my text messages with this girl. We were scheming to, like, go to the bathroom at the same time and make out. I was in, like, 7th grade.
You're not really depicting the best picture of yourself in these episodes.
Why not? I think that's great.
She's a scandalous little bitch.
I was.
She was.
Did you kiss the boy and the girl on the same day in elementary school?
No, come on, Sam.
Okay, I'm just clarifying for the people.
on.
I just needed that clarification.
Clarification
Now,
for the
no
people.
longer scandalous.
No
Thank
longer
you.
scandalous.
Thank you.
But no, my dad read my text with a girl, and it became a thing, and he woke me up, and he was...
That's wrong, David.
Yes, he knows that now, I think. I don't know. If you're listening to this,
He might
Dad,
stand
that was
by it.
fucked up. I mean, I'm grateful that... I mean, it could have gone a million ways, but...
Yeah.
I'm grateful that it happened that way. But the way that situation was handled definitely made me... It didn't make me feel like I had to be any less of myself, but it made me weary to share that with people. And in my eyes, I was like, that sucks for you because I'm a great kid.
Yeah.
And you're missing out on knowing this part of me because I now have a fear of, like, being open with you about this. And that's, like, not me. I probably was sad about it a little bit, but the overarching thing that I felt was, like, you're missing
You're
out.
like, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks
for
for
you.
you because
Yeah.
I'm a great kid. And, I mean, like, I had a girlfriend for about a year, I think, before I told my dad. Because of how that situation went when he read my text and was weary
after
about
this,
it.
but
Yeah.
before you told him.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, at that point, it was kind of out in the open. Like, Logan obviously is going to kiss a girl at school. Like, she is gay. But it was almost a sentiment of, like, don't worry, this is just a phase. Like, we'll get you out of this. And I was like, don't worry. Like, I'm definitely not worried.
Why does everyone say that it's just a phase? Like, y'all, again, everyone is gay because if y'all are having these motherfucking phases, come on. Anyway,
We could go on for hours
We
on
could.
sexuality.
I have
for
one
sure.
more
Okay.
thought based on what you said is, like, I am so glad that I came out when I did because I, at that point, was more sure of who I was, where, like, I can have that thought of, like, that sucks for you because you now have lost the opportunity to continue to get to know me as a more real and, like, authentic and just, like, really expressive version of myself.
Yeah.
That sucks for you.
Yeah.
But I think that if I was a kid or, like, even in high school, I think that I would have taken it in a way that, like, a lot of people in the community go, where it's, like, very sad and dark, honestly.
Yeah.
You could be swayed to believe something
Yeah.
about yourself.
Where you feel like
that's not
you are
true.
even hiding it in
Yeah.
yourself, not just to other people.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people experience that. And I feel like although your coming out story was very difficult and parts of mine were, I feel like I had it pretty easy, but I think that both of us are very privileged in the way that, you know, we weren't kicked out of our homes. We weren't
Totally
homeless. Although there was like rejection, we were not like casted away from family and not spoken to, at least immediate family. And I feel really privileged in that way. Like it was a rocky road. Like my dad voted yes on Prop 8. Love you, Dad, but you did that.
Damn.
And we would get in arguments. I was like 11 or 12, and we'd be at the dinner table. I'd be like, that makes no sense. Why don't you want gay people to get married? And he'd be like, well, can you marry a dog? And I'm like, that is so different. Like,
okay, don't be bringing up David's arguments from back in the day, girl.
I will, and he knows I will. But like,
he's a completely different person now.
But he has said to me, like,
for everyone else.
Yes, my dad is a very different person, very supportive of me and Melissa, loves Melissa.
He's a great guy.
He's a very progressive man.
He is, and he's
very
told me and my sisters, like, he's thanked us for having taught him everything. Like, he never
Y'all could have rejected him. Y'all really could have said, peace then.
Yeah, easily. But we didn't. And we love him, and he has changed very much and is a supporter of the LGBTQ ally.
He said ally.
Waving the flag.
But I think going really quickly, I know we don't want to stay on this for too long, but going back to what you said when you were like, I don't feel like I'm necessarily made an impact on my family. I think that is like a disservice to what you've done in your family, because you've changed. Like you said, you've impacted your cousins and a lot of other people in your family. But I think you're healing yourself and your future children, our future children, and you're also, like, whether it was a smooth ride or not, you're opening up other people to not necessarily be more authentic with themselves, maybe, but also just, like, be more kind and loving and more accepting. And I think the people in your life, even if it hasn't gone very smoothly, hopefully one day we'll see that and be able to thank you for it, because you've impacted a lot of people by just being like your authentic and true self.
Even people you don't talk to.
Yeah.
People on Instagram, people from high school, people from middle school. They're like, damn, do you see Melissa? Like, she's so happy.
She's living her truth.
Period.
Like, maybe I could do that. Like, she has a Mexican family. I have a Mexican family. Maybe, things might be okay. So.
It's very interesting. Thanks, guys.
Leaving it on a positive, sentimental note.
Your impact.
Yeah. Moving into spirituality in glowing hour.
Hopefully it's not too long.
We're gonna be having a drink, so see you there. We're back, and we're having Kettle One Botanical
I haven't had
Gardens.
vodka in a long time.
Oh, this is great.
It's refreshing.
Wow.
Did you think it wasn't going to be great?
It's good.
Just, like, I think we're, like, triggered by, like, Ciroc and Smirnoff. Like,
vomit.
Flavored vodkas. Disgusting.
But this is
Kettle
sugar.
But Kettle One knows how to do it.
Zero carbs. Because I care so much about that.
Hey, I want to eat a lot of bread, so if my drink doesn't have carbs, period. What's tequila got?
Isn't it weird that liquids can have carbs?
I don't like that idea.
I literally don't pay attention to it.
I don't either.
I don't understand.
But the fact that it's on the bottle, I'm like...
Now we do.
This drink is zero sugar. Actually, we added a lot of sugar.
No sugar.
So, spirituality. I think you kind of nibbled on the topic by saying you kind of rejected spirituality that was...
Religion.
Religion that was basically against gay people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think any... Let's go around the room and identify...
I wouldn't know what to say.
I don't either.
I think someone asked me that recently, and I was like, I don't have a word.
We're just spiritual. I think we're all spiritual.
Yeah, I don't belong
to Victoria Justice. I think we're all spiritual.
Well, I don't belong to a church, but we belong to a spiritual center, which I think for me is like was a huge turning point in understanding myself spiritually, which is Agape.
Same.
Agape International Spiritual Center. You can live stream it on Sundays. Michael Bernard Beckwith is phenomenal.
I bring it up a lot
it's
in
not
this
sponsored,
podcast.
but it kind of should be.
Yeah, Michael B.
Michael,
where you at?
Michael, if you want to
Michael
come
B. Jordan?
on.
Michael B.
Michael
even
Beebe,
better.
even better. The better Michael.
But I think going there helped me kind of
Solidify
find
your spirituality.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's very much, people are like, oh, you're spiritual, like, what does that mean? Or like,
I think
it's like woo woo, but when you say like I practice something specific, people like all of a sudden respect it. You know?
Yeah, no, I get you. I think like with agape in specific, like, okay, I'm gonna say that like I have always tried to like gravitate towards like religion growing up. Like I would try to find messaging that like felt like something to me.
Powerful.
A lot of that was based on fear of like going to hell, of course. But I think something that was really, really comforting about agape is that it felt like the environment felt similar to like a church where like people would gather together.
Community.
And there's a community aspect. But the verbiage was just so different and the vocabulary was so different as to how like God was spoken about. I felt like the difference was like I was a part of this entity versus being castrated or like preyed upon by a God above me.
A man in the sky.
Yeah.
He's deciding all.
It was more like me and this thing are deciding what my life is like looking like versus I have no control and I just have to be a fucking good girl, literally, because that's how disgusting it feels. Like you have to be a good girl. You know what I mean?
I think that's what Christianity teaches us, for sure.
A lot of movies right now about religion are
not making it look too good.
Not looking too good.
But I feel like that is a huge part of agape that made me feel so included. Like I apparently went to agape a couple times as a child, which I don't remember, but when my parents moved to Washington, I was probably like 19. I kind of came back to it, and I always did a little bit of meditation. I was always like a little spiritual. But my first like 5 times, I would go by myself every Sunday and every Wednesday night. And sometimes I would always have people sitting next to me. And sometimes, like the first 5 times I went, I just sat there and cried and like released so much stuff.
You can't even help it though.
You can't.
There's like this weird acceptance that just makes you literally like basically drop to your knees.
Well, you're just like comfortable.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad. There's nothing even necessarily good. It's just like,
it's just neutral.
You just are. Yeah. And I didn't even know why I was crying, but I think it was like just kind of shedding a lot of fears and everything I've been through and kind of just surrendering, I guess, to like God or whatever you would like to call it. But yeah, it's like you are co-creating your life with this creator. It's not like, you know, they or him he is making all of the decisions. But I think for me, living a life where there was so many things that happened to me that were outside of my control that really impacted like who I was and what happened in my life and etc. I think feeling like I actually do have control over what happens in my life, and I do have control over my emotions, and like shit doesn't have to just happen to me, but something like Michael Bernard Beckwith says, like nothing happens to you, like everything is happening for you. So like it really helped me switch my mindset of like even seeing things like my mom's death is like that didn't happen to me, but that happened for me. And even just like laying that out and then exploring like what are some ways that like losing my mom is something that happened for me and not against me. And there's a lot of ways that happened for me, because I wouldn't be who I was if it wasn't for that experience. But I feel like agape and spirituality in general kind of gives you back a little bit of that power, because with like God and Christianity, I feel like you just have to be faithful and
it's just like,
a servant, and you know,
it's just like pray
a lot of
it.
Shame. Yeah, pray on it. Ask
Pray
God for forgiveness, or
like, why can't I forgive myself?
Right, and that's what's most important. Well, also like you are godly in yourself, so like yeah. But
yeah, I mean, like, not to shit on other people's religions. I want to put that disclaimer, I guess. I mean, like, you know.
I mean, not to shit on you, but like this.
If your religion allows you to have the mindset where you're making other people seem less than, fuck your religion, in my opinion.
Quite honestly.
Because, yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
And makes no
also,
sense.
you probably just leave the episode now. You probably should have left a long time ago, actually.
I don't even know whether to be here.
Don't even listen to this.
Actually, you
I
should
guess
listen.
I guess I'm saying it as people, because there are people I think who maybe I don't know. I'm just speaking into the void here. Tell me what you think. If there's people who identify as Christian, but obviously don't believe it to the core of,
Right.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe in God, I believe in whatever.
I think there are so many truths to every religion. And I think that they're all something that they talk about at Agape is like every religion. They're all saying the same thing, but they get so hung up on the specifics of like, no, Jonah said that. No, Jesus. It's like, but they're all saying the same sentiment, and it's all been kind of, in my opinion, it's all been analyzed in different ways and taken on like...
Yeah, there's different versions.
It's just
of
literally,
everything.
like when I think about the Bible, there's so many different versions of like what that Bible or like that story is, how that story is told. And it's literally just like, maybe it just stemmed from one writer and then everyone else just fucking interpreted it in their own way. Just like when we read a story, you, me, and Logan will all read it
because of our own experiences.
Right.
And yeah.
And so I think that's exactly how religion just has developed and like created itself.
My dad has his own historical concept on religion, and like, it makes sense. It's not really a concept. It's probably just facts, but that it came out of a need for faith. Like,
right.
that people needed something to fucking go off of to live and survive. So they came up with it, basically.
I think that's what all religion and spirit, like even my spirituality, it's comforting to me. Like it gave me peace, and like my spirituality gave me peace, and like for other people that might look like Catholicism, and that's totally fine. But I think when your religion or your spirituality hinders you from being your...
When it gets to that point.
Right. Or like, I think when it hinders you from being like your most authentic self is when it's debilitating and no longer freeing.
Yeah. When it's limiting you from like acknowledging other people, or like even just when it limits you from being like a full human of like a kind person. Like in any regard, people. Like that's when you kind of like shit.
I think that, and I also think that when your religion causes you to deny, and this is maybe controversial because I know Christians believe that like you shouldn't call anyone else God but God, but I believe that if you have a religion that's like preventing you from seeing the godliness in yourself, and if your religion is stripping away your power that you have within your own life, then it's debilitating because you're not living for yourself and you're not creating your life. You're just leaving it up to something else. But we do have a lot of power and say over like what happens in our lives, which is a huge responsibility, and it's so much easier to live your life and just like not think about that, of course, and just
pray, then whatever's supposed to happen will happen.
Just like it's so much easier to plead for somebody else to help you than it is to take responsibility and be like, I'm helping create this life for myself. Like maybe I'm attracting these like not everything, but like these negative things that are coming to me. Like, how can I shift my mindset to maybe attract more positive things? But it's hard to take that responsibility. It's much easier to just lay back and plead, like, Sky Daddy, please give me.
Sky Daddy,
please fix this situation. It's so much easier to do that.
Sky Daddy.
So,
is that a
not to say I don't
term?
believe in praying, though, because I do believe in praying. Yeah, Sky Daddy's a term.
Oh.
It's like how people make fun of
God?
Mostly like Jesus, or like
I
think in that sense.
I think it's like
it's just a meme.
People are like, Daddy, can I have this? Can I have that? It's like
Sky Daddy, please.
Okay.
Something that I've like really, I think it made a lot of sense, like coming from a Catholic background, was like being told that, or like, I guess not being told, but like coming to the realization that like this whole story about Jesus was just the fact that he was just someone who was so in tune with the universe and so in tune with himself that he felt so godly to people. like he felt so like untouchable because he was living in just like such a high, not only like vibration and frequency, but he just literally was doing his own fucking thing. And like
no
everyone else was like, how do I do that? Or like, not even how do I do that, but like, this is it. This is God. This guy right here.
This guy.
He's special.
But not me.
But
couldn't be me.
It couldn't be me. So I need to ask him for help.
No one wants to bear
a lot of things all the time.
No one wants to bear the burden of godliness. It's
a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to like be God. I'm just kidding.
Like, you guys wouldn't get it.
I was like, I'm not saying I'm God, but I kind of am.
Stupid.
But you're not God.
But I'm not God. But also, God is a woman. So.
Oh dear God, Ariana Grande, where you at? What were
God
some of these
is a
song
woman.
references today?
If God was any gender, it'd be woman.
I think God is. I think that's a whole nother thing.
It's a whole other topic.
Gender don't exist.
Anyway,
yeah. I feel like very privileged that I was not raised in a religious household.
That's so interesting.
Which is interesting because as a kid, I felt very ostracized not being in a religious household because I didn't fit into anyone's like Sundays, not ostracized like, oh my God, fucking pity me.
Well, it's an identity.
Yeah. I just felt like, I don't know. And like my parents didn't really supplement it with anything. Like,
were you raised like atheist? Like, did God ever come up at all?
No, yeah. I mean, my the reason that I was raised no religion really was because my grandparents on both sides were very religious and my parents just didn't want to push that on their kids. So my brother and sister are both baptized, but I wasn't. And like, I think there's a lot with that because my mom's mom passed away a month after I was born, and postpartum depression, losing your mom, I'm sure that was like probably the main reason that I didn't get baptized. Well, it makes you
question God, like when so many bad things happen at once.
Yeah. That's the main reason why I think I wasn't baptized. But like, that was really the only thing my parents did. Like, that was religious. We didn't go to church. We didn't do anything. And then
not even on like Easter Sunday.
No, not really. No. Maybe as a kid.
What a life.
Growing up, even though like that was like the only thing that happened, like how was God talked about though to you?
So I'd say God was probably spoken through my grandparents on my dad's side. Not really in like an influencing way. I'm just like, oh, those are my grandparents. They're from the South.
They believe in God.
Yeah, like, I don't know. They believe in God. And then in high school, pretty much all of my friends were doing, what's it called? Confirmation?
Oh, yeah.
All that, those classes, and you go to camp, and you confirm yourself to God or whatever. So all my friends were doing that.
Sorry, it's so weird.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I thought it was like something I was missing out on. I was like, they get to go camping?
That's what you were focused on.
Yeah.
You said, damn.
I said,
and they get to marry God?
Damn, get
Wait a minute.
Guaranteed marriage? But yeah.
Going to heaven?
Every time I'd go to church, and then like my first boyfriend, his family was very religious, or his mother was very religious.
Adds up.
I mean, not like very, like, she was intense, but it does add up. He was homophobic.
Just to quickly clear that, yeah, he was homophobic.
Anyways, tragic.
For him.
Again, I feel bad for you.
Of course. What was I saying? Oh, but yeah, I just like felt left out. Like, I'd go to church with like his mom and him or whatever. Not often, but like every once in a while. And I was just so uncomfortable. Like, oh, we're standing now. Oh, we're singing. Oh, we're kneeling.
Yeah.
And like, I feel bad because I did go to a funeral last year, and it was for my great grandfather, and it was a religious funeral, and I just felt like uncomfortable there, which sucks. Like, it's unfortunate, but I was just like, I was never raised, like, even my mom is like, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. I think the only thing I would do differently with my kids is give them the opportunity, like, speak more about like what
a little bit of
faith
all
is.
of them, and then they can choose.
maybe not being like speaking about like all the religions, because I obviously don't know them all. I don't understand them all. Maybe if I found like a cute little book or something, whatever, like I would just give like some sort of like base level, like, this is what I believe. Yeah,
I think that's why spirituality in like our sense is like a really neutral and good point, because it like leaves it up and open to like your interpretation of like what God is. And you can all, I mean, if you wanted to, I don't think that you necessarily have to, because I think where we are is good. But like, if our kids wanted to, like, they ended up going to a Christian church and that felt incredible for them. Like, at least they had the basis that they believed in a higher power, and then they can like niche it up and like, you know what I mean? Like, then it becomes Sky Daddy. So
that escalated really quickly.
Yeah.
Your kids went from spirituality to Sky Daddy.
You never know.
I think that, I mean, we've never talked about how we are going to raise our kids like spirituality or religion wise, but I do agree, and I feel like raising them in agape and like what agape teaches, and that spirituality leaves it open, because it does send sends the overarching message, and they read Bible excerpts all the time, and
not in a way of like, today we're reading blah, blah, blah.
No, it's more like just to like confirm reference. Things.
It's more like when this was said in the Bible, I think that this is not, I think, but like this is more of like what is actually meant by it. Like, this is how you... This
is the overarching message.
Yeah, this is how you can interpret it in a way that feels like comforting and authentic to yourself, where you are a part of that like decision or that verse, you know, instead of being like, God told me to do this.
Speaking of interpretations, I mean, that's right there. You can interpret it however the fuck you want. Some people can take the Bible and do anything with it.
Which they do.
And they do.
Yeah. I guess, like, also, like, not to keep preaching agape, but, like, in agape, like, the term God is used, and, like, literally, I personally think that, I mean, also, I don't know every religion, and I don't know, like, what it feels like to be spoken to in, like, terms of, like, their religion, but, like, I feel like anybody who believes in a higher power can go to agape and feel still connected to the words, and it still makes sense, because the word like God is just so general.
Even if you know what I mean? Something else.
I think if you're Christian and you go to agape, it's just freeing. I think. Like, my grandma's very Christian, but she's been to agape, and I think she thinks it's a great place.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we were to take our kids to agape, they would get the general message. And they could pick which religion they want to go into, but I think they would, for example, if they were like, I really relate to Christianity, and that's kind of what I believe, I think if they started at agape, they would go into it with this mindset where it's
more
like... More openness and less like, I owe God something. And I need to be good, and I need to not sin, and like, et cetera, et cetera. I think they would be able to go into it with like a little bit more of an open mindset.
Yeah. I think spirituality just like in general feels a lot more like humanizing, if that makes sense.
But also not humanizing.
But let me explain. I think like...
but godly, remember?
But godly, remember? I think it feels more humanizing in the sense that like, I think other religions make you feel very like less than. It's almost like you're the animal in the playpen, and God is like deciding when to fuck around with you.
Yeah.
And you just like, you have more control as a human and as a being on like planet Earth or like in the universe. So yeah, I think spirituality, I think, is like the base level, if we're talking base level.
Look at the podcast, deciding how you're going to raise your kids. Wow.
I feel like we've always been like kind of in tune with how...
You guys always knew. Yeah. But look at you speaking it out loud
about it.
Totally.
Podcast.
You heard it here first.
We're going to look back.
Logan and Melissa's kids will be at agape. You heard it here first. Yep.
We need to take Sam. I think she would like it.
I think you would. They need to open.
Yeah. Oh, they're still not open?
No, it's just live streaming on Sundays.
It's not the same, and I feel like nobody should...
That shouldn't be the first
That should not be your first experience.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a bad experience. I just feel
you
like...
said it sucks.
It just feels magical in person.
Well, yeah, because you're with the community and you feel...
Yeah. It's just like when we're talking about... Yes, I was going to say, if we're talking about energy, the energy is so high that you literally... That's why I feel like it's so easy to cry, because it's just so good.
It's fucking funny, like, thinking about spirituality and religion, because it's like people who are like diehard whatever, you know, whatever it is, whatever spirituality, like I think that's what they want. They want the community, they want the feeling of like being around people who understand them, blah, like all that stuff. But then it's like you add in the weird things.
The weird shit. Why you gotta add that in?
But don't be gay. But no abortions.
Women suck. Like, there's so many things that people just add
It's
in.
like, why y'all gotta do
Where'd that come from?
Isn't that exhausting also?
Look, I'm just
Aren't you
sorry.
tired?
I don't want to get...
The next episode's about the patriarchy, I guess.
I guess so.
I think spirituality is very freeing.
It
and
is.
I think that's the sentiment. Is like people who were raised in really Christian, and there's people that are Christian that I don't think that like they love gay people. They believe they're pro-choice. Like they believe in freedom and they're still Christian, and that's cool. But I think like the overwhelming majority of people that were raised that way feel very limited. And I think to go from that to spirituality is very freeing.
Yeah.
I will
At least in
say,
my experience.
my friends who did confirmation are no longer part of the church.
Yeah. That says it all right there.
So...
Yeah. It
There
feels
it
very
is.
rigid, I will say. Religion just feels rigid.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Thanks for being here, Logan.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
I forgot we were on a podcast, actually.
Period.
That is the best feeling.
Compliment right there.
Compliment.
No,
Thank
it's
you very
not
much.
a compliment. It's
I
just that we're
mean,
always talking
Yeah, I was like,
shit
I
all
mean, we
the
do
time.
always talk about shit like this.
Like, we could basically fucking do a second episode in the car when we're driving.
Yes. I'm excited. We're going to celebrate Logan now.
Yeah.
Yay.
Done with
So-
work.
This is like a happy birthday episode also, so happy birthday, babe.
Thanks.
Next year, we'll run it back. We'll do another one.
Mm?
And it'll be on something else that speaks to you.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Maybe we'll have a kid.
Oh.
Thank you for listening today. I'm just kidding.
Gotta
No,
go.
for real. We gotta go. Do all the things. Follow our Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow
Like us.
the Apple Pod and Spotify Pod.
Yes. Download. Downloads
Yeah,
are
that
important.
shit helps us,
I
guys,
don't even
please.
understand
Delicious.
who's downloading podcast episodes, but people do it. So
Airplanes.
yeah, I
Road
guess.
trips where you're not going to have service.
Yep.
I
Just put us in
guess.
that like backup.
Download us.
Download.
Get it on
Like,
lock for
you know, when
us.
like you have no service, at least we'll be there for you.
Oh, you run out of data?
Always.
Exactly. We'll be
We're
there.
always
Yeah.
there.
We'll fucking be there.
You just have to
But
download us.
anyway,
That's it.
that's it. We'll talk to you later.
See you
Bye.
next week.